So I just want to give you a few tips on how you can begin treating the ministry leader in your world like a human being, just like you're a human being, because they're not superhuman. They're not Jesus Christ. They're humans just like you. Now, that ministry leader could be your pastor, it could be your small group leader, it could be somebody that you serve with in a parachurch ministry. It doesn't matter. They're in some type of leadership capacity, and you just have to remember that they too are human beings. Now, as a leader, they're not above the law. They need moral accountability, just like everybody else needs moral accountability. And without the moral accountability, their ministry is going to go off the rails. So of course that's what they need, just like it's what you need. But they also need something very, very important from the people that they serve, which is relational grace. You have to remember that they have bad days. They have off days. They have days where their bodies hurt, where their heads hurt. And if you encounter them on one of those days, there is a chance that they're not going to respond to you in the exact way that you would wish that they would respond to you. But you know that you've got to let grace again cover a multitude of sins. And honestly, most of the sins that we are covering with that love in the body of Christ are probably unintentional sins. Like, I don't know that many ministry leaders wake up in the morning and they're just trying to figure out how many people they can get their knickers in a knot with, or how many people that they can tick off, or how many people they can annoy or aggravate with their attitude today. So let your grace cover that ministry leader when you encounter them on an off day or a bad day, because it's probably not personal and they don't have a vendetta against you. They're just having a bad day. You have to remember that that ministry leader is not Jesus Christ. And a lot of people, what they do, instead of running to Jesus, they run to the ministry leader. And then when the ministry leader fails to be Jesus Christ, when the ministry leader fails to fulfill that role of Jesus Christ, then they get angry with the ministry leader for not being Jesus Christ, when you should be angry with yourself for not running to Jesus first. And they're going to disappoint you. I mean, there's really no way around that. The whole system is rigged for the ministry leader to disappoint you, because they're not going to rush in and care for you in your hour of need the way you thought that they were going to rush in and care for you. You're not going to be as important in the mind of that ministry leader as you hoped that you would have been in that hour of need. And that's very human. Nobody's giving you a ding for that. That's just the way it is. But you've got to remember that ministry leader isn't always aware of what they need to do for you in your hour of need. And you've got to remember too that other people are having that same hour of need, probably at the same time that you're having yours. So they've got limited time, they've got limited capacity, they've got limited resource to be able to meet everybody in their hour of need the way they hope or expect that ministry to do it. It's not going to happen. So at some point, they're going to disappoint. And you will realize that somebody was really there for you one time and then they're not there for you the next time. And then you're wondering what happened. Nothing happened, except maybe the person is just emotionally flooded, or maybe their schedule has flooded their world and they just can't get to everything and everyone. But again, it's not personal. Most ministry leaders are not waking up in the morning trying to figure out how many people can I disappoint today. Like, that's really my goal today, is to just really disappoint and get a lot of people angry with me. That's not what they're thinking. Hopefully it's not what you're thinking, that you're not waking up in the morning trying to figure out how many people you can tick off either. And you've got to stop being offended because that ministry leader doesn't remember your name. I mean, they're standing up there talking, or you're listening to them every single week. So of course you remember their name. They've met you once or twice, maybe 3 or 4 times, but they're meeting a lot of other people too. So don't get wounded that they don't remember your name. That is really evidence of you thinking too highly of yourself, as opposed to you having some grace for their situation. So you got to remember, if they don't remember your name, tell them what your name is. Introduce yourself again. It's human to forget. I am very sure that you have forgotten a lot of people's names that you've met before too. So can you give that ministry leader just a little bit of grace when it comes to your name? And if they don't remember who you are, can you just tell them who you are again and move on? And can you also remember that they've got families too? so that when you see them out in public with their kids, or you see them at an event with their kids, maybe they really want to pay attention to their kids. Maybe when they're on a date with their wife, or you're on a date with your husband, you really do just want to spend some time with your husband. You're not being rude to the people in your ministry. If you're trying to kind of like, okay, it was really great meeting you, and move on. Can we give them grace that they've got families too, that they need to be loving on their families too? Can we give them grace knowing that they've got problems and issues and situations that they are trying to navigate in their own homes and their own families? And yes, there are people in their ministries, people in their congregations who've got lots of issues too. But you got to remember that all of your issues are not that ministry leader's issues. I mean, there's only so much room up there in our heads, right? And so a lot of our time is consumed with our issues. Be thankful for the times that your situation breaks in and we actually ask about it. But you've got to remember that you aren't the only one with a scenario. You're not the only one with a situation. So give grace. Give grace. If they don't respond to an email or a text or a phone call as soon as you sent it, or you've got this kind of in your mind, this idea of how long it should take for somebody to respond, if they don't respond to you, then remind them. Do you not have times where somebody has texted you and you got preoccupied and you forgot? Were you being seditious? Were you being malicious? Were you being cruel? No, you were just being human and you forgot. So I just really believe that some of the breakdown between people in a ministry and the people leading a ministry would really be solved if we just remembered that we were all human beings, that we're all emotionally flooded in some way or another, that we're all very limited. We live in a very busy culture, that most of us are not waking up in the morning trying to figure out who we can mess up today, and that we would just let grace cover a multitude of sins, or even a multitude of forgetfulness. So if we would just communicate what we need communicated, remind people of what they may have forgotten, and we don't take everything so personally, I think we're going to do a much better job being a spiritually and emotionally healthy body of Christ that can be light and salt and just that city on a hill that the world around us really needs. So go give a ministry leader some grace today. Show your love.